Okay, this video is called Divorced Moving Photos. You know, I recently got divorced and I had to move out of my house, and the whole thing was a ripoff, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'll just show you what some of the stuff looked like at my old house where I just moved out of. Here was my office where I wrote a bunch of books. And I was happy about that because at my house I didn't have to do anything. My wife was like a landlord. So I wrote her one check a month and then I could just focus on writing. So wherever I am, there's usually tons of books. This is my office and I got stacks upon stacks of books all the way in through here. You can see I'm writing a book right here. This was the most recent book I wrote about food, mood, and IQ, some family pictures and stuff. Anyways, that's one look at my office, and I'm going to show you something good. You're going to be surprised what's coming up. This is just an introductory thing. Here's just another look at my office. That's when my father died. There's the funeral, and there's a lot of other, mostly books, personal stuff there, but now I'll show you what was sort of one of the sad parts. I threw away basically 5 dumpsters, 5 of these containers full of books. My daughter was crying to see me throw away all these books. You know, when Thomas Jefferson was old, he turned his books over. They became the giant library, you know, versus my books, you know, 5 of them, 5 dumpster full things of these books. These were mostly books that I knew I would never use again. You know, everything I need to know from these textbooks is either in my head or I know it's immediately available on the internet, so I don't need all these textbooks. I would have a bunch of textbooks in all the different fields. Okay. And then here's the old Netter atlases, which I did like them, but I find that I never go to them. I would ask myself the question, have I looked at this book in the last 5 years, the last 10 years? Am I ever going to look at this book again? Are any of my kids going to want to use this book? Or if the book had junk on it, you know, the books were largely in the basement, and my wife's dog would piss sometimes through the basement cracks, and they would get on the book. So if the book had piss on it, I would just toss it out. Also, I had tons and tons of audio CDs, tons and tons of DVDs. I kind of collect all this stuff. So anything I didn't think I'd ever use again or no one else in the family would use, I just toss it in the garbage can. So it was kind of sad, though. It was kind of sad. It was, like I said, there's 5 of these things full. There's maybe more than 5 of them. Okay. I took one picture of myself with all my books. This isn't even all of them. Just to have a photo of me with all my books at the old house. You know, these are the ones about teaching kids. So basically, like I said, I'm basically like a modern Aristotle. I've summarized what I would consider the useful information about literature, culture, painting, nutrition, and medicine. I've written overall, like, I don't know, 22 books, something like that. All right, now here is my bed, and a lot of people think that this is rather amusing. This is basically about maximum EMF shielding. There's mirrors surrounding the outer walls, mirrors on the floor, mirrors here, and this is an EMF tent. And you can laugh at it and say it's a stupid joke, like my kid said, Dad, you can't show people a picture of that bed. You'll never get laid again the rest of your life. And I said, look, pal, the reason for showing people is just so they're aware such a thing exists. And then I would test the EMF inside of it. It's 0, okay? Which I like, you know. I think that's, you know, why I kept my brain better than most people at my age. I'm 60 years old. I don't got any medical problems. My brain, I can concentrate easily 14 hours in a row. Okay, here's just another look at it. You know, here's a look at one of the windows there in my old bedroom there. I had all that stuff blocked off. I think that might be it. Oh no, here's my bathroom. This is the magic bathroom at the old house where I used to live recently before my crazy wife filed for divorce. We're divorced now. It's history. So basically, you've heard like Jim Rohn say, you are the product of, you know, whatever 5 people you spend time with or whatever 5 books you read, what you do during your day. And so what I'm saying is I like to be around good things. I like the picture of Jesus Christ. I like the picture of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. On the back wall, I got the picture of Raphael's School of Athens. I got pictures of all my favorite writers in here. So I think about them because sometimes I just look at the picture of one of my favorite writers and it'll give me an idea. It'll remind me when I write that I should sort of feel their personality infused in myself, okay? And I got a picture of Ruth Heidrich on my bathroom. She inspires me. I got a picture of Stephen Meyer, the guy who wrote The Return of the God Hypothesis. Sam Kinnison's the funniest comedian who ever lived. All kinds of things in here. I got a picture of Dennis Burkitt, the fiber man, the great Irish doctor, Christian missionary. I got the picture of Cardinal Newman here on the wall. I admire him very much, from the 1800s, sort of the Catholic Victorian Renaissance. Keith Green, the great singer. Lots of other people, all the great playwrights of ancient Greece. They all inspire me. And so you want to see people every day that inspire you, to energize you. Because people who actually know me, that's one of the things they freak out about, is how much energy I have. And I think it comes from my life's really simple. I stay really healthy, and I'm around things that build me up. Because the real world's always smushing you down, smashing you down. So you need things that build you back up. I got a picture of the Pietà by Michelangelo, the most beautiful statue that was ever made. I got a picture of the Celtic cross, which I love. Reminds me of my Irish ancestors as well. I got a picture of the cathedral designed by A.W. Pugin, the great architect of the Catholic Victorian Renaissance. It's beautiful. I do have a picture of Martin Luther on the wall, and don't get me wrong, I have very mixed feelings about Luther. I disagree with him about tons of things. However, he was a great writer. Man, did he have a fire inside of him, okay? So, well, I don't agree with Luther about a lot of things, and I think the Catholic version of Christianity is much better than the Protestant version. There were some things about him that I liked, and he was sort of like entertaining in a way, in a crazy way too, even though he's a jerk in a lot of ways as well. Anyway, so those are some of the things that inspire me. I have a picture of John at Patmos. He wrote the Book of Revelation, okay? And what I like about him and this idea is many of the best books have been written by writers in exile, okay? And so that's part of how it all works. Gospel according to Matthew, St. Jerome translating the Bible. I mean, all of those things are inspiring. So I want to be around. When I see like somebody who did something great, then I'm like, well, gee, maybe I could do something great if only I had the energy. Well, why don't I just give myself the energy, And then here's, Thomas Maher, the great Irishman who was a general for the North in the Civil War. Stupid Irish fighting each other in the Civil War. They were on both sides. Anyways, and that other painting was, when Jesus Christo knocks, answer the door. All right. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Edgar Allan Poe, he's crazy and he was an alcoholic, but he was a great writer. Some of my favorite weightlifter athletes. I do have a picture of Neil Bernard on here. I did admire a lot of things Neil Bernard did. There's things that he did that I don't admire, but there's a lot of things he did that I do admire. This is Dr. Christensen. He was a great scholar of writing techniques, and I learned from him like an apophasis and some other tricks. He really studied what do writers do, and he explained why English literature teachers and grammar teachers didn't know how to write, because they didn't write like real writers did. And he studied what do real writers do, so I learned a lot from him. I got other writers there who taught me a lot. Okay, so again, I want to be around all these people who admire me, who I admire. So here's another picture of my bathroom, and I'll show you some more of the stuff that I admire here. So whenever I'm in this bathroom, I'm always around stuff that's inspiring me, trying to energize myself. Victor Hugo, the greatest novelist who ever lived, perhaps. Charles Dickens, author of Christmas Carol, the greatest novel ever written. Ayn Rand would say Victor Hugo was the best. Jonathan Swift, I liked him. Jonathan Swift, he's an Irish, kind of English-Irish guy, and he inspired me, one of my books, A Tale of Two Toes in a Hot Tub, which is one of my favorite books, How to Improve Blood Flow. That's the one, like, my friends love that book. They say it's the funniest medical book ever written. This is just some cathedrals. They're beautiful. They're magnificent. This is Rogier van der Weyden, The Seven Sacraments. Magnificent painting. I love this painting. It's sort of like myself personified, Thomas Aquinas before Jesus Christus, saying, I'm trying, am I doing okay? His vision of St. Aquinas before the cross. It's beautiful. Okay, there's my wrestling coach, Mark Schultz. He was great to me, really helped me out a lot when I was in college. Some of these other weightlifting athletes, some beautiful pictures of cathedrals, the School of Athens. William Butler Yeats, the great Irish poet. The Irish had a lot of great literary figures, and he sort of tried to save culture as best he could. You do what you can, you try. There's John Ruskin, the great genius art critic of the Victorian Renaissance. Again, kind of sad, crazy, pathetic genius, like almost all of them are, but beautiful nevertheless. Magnificent painting of Caravaggio, paintings of Van Gogh. Another beautiful cathedral, Fyodor Dostoevsky, one of the greatest novelists ever. And these are just more book covers from books that I've written. There's Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I found that book rather inspiring. Oh, and then just this, I don't know if this is my last picture. Here's a picture of an Instapot. These are really good for cooking. You can very easily make rice and beans together. I do that routinely. I've been real happy with that. Usually it lasts about 2 days. The big problem is don't make too much because it'll spoil. By the fourth day it's spoiled. The third day it may or may not be good. But I found that a very convenient way to cook. So that's basically all I got. My new place isn't really sort of settled in yet. I'm sort of pretty rough. 90% of my stuff still unpacked, but I'm working on it. So anyways, hope that was of some interest.